I was shocked to discover the little girl who attended the same elite school as my son was living in a pile of garbage every day. I immediately assumed her wealthy family was abusing her by forcing her to live in such conditions. Furious, I told my assistant to call the police. The little girl quickly explained that her mother supported her schooling by collecting garbage. She then pulled me toward her home. I went there intending to save the girl's mother, but when I saw the woman unconscious from blood loss, as a doctor, I froze and didn't dare step forward because the woman looked exactly like my wife, who had passed away years ago. But in truth, the woman in front of me was my wife, 7 years ago. When she gave birth to our first child, the doctor discovered our son was extremely weak and needed a full blood transfusion immediately, but his blood type was extremely rare. Only my wife had matching panda blood, so my cruel father ignored her safety and took her blood to save my son. She fell into shock from the blood loss, thinking she wouldn't survive. My father ordered someone to dump her in a trash heap. I arrived at the hospital shortly after, only to be told she had died. I wept in grief. 7 years passed, believing my wife was truly gone. I never stopped missing her. Unbeknownst to me, she had survived and had even given birth to twin daughters. But the trauma had caused memory loss, and she had become mute. All these years, she survived by collecting scraps, just to send her daughter to an elite school. One day, the teacher rushed to inform her that the little girl got into a fight at school. When she arrived, she learned the girl had picked up my son's bottle, and my son hit her for it. My mother, who had lived abroad for years, didn't recognize my wife. To prevent her daughter from being expelled, my wife knelt down and begged for forgiveness, but my son told her to jump from the upstairs balcony to protect her child. She jumped without hesitation. When the little girl ran downstairs, she saw her mother covered in injuries. She knelt and begged them to spare her mother. After examining her condition, the doctor told the little girl her mother had hit her head and was in critical condition. Only I could save her now. I didn't yet know that the little girl was my biological daughter. The doctor brought her to find me. The moment she saw me, she knelt down and begged me to save her mother. Before I could react, my son recognized the girl, but he assumed she was there to cause trouble and pushed her to the ground. The protective charm my wife gave her fell out. My son saw it and accused her of stealing, not knowing that there were 2 identical charms, gifts from my wife while pregnant with twins. The girl insisted the charm was from her mother, but they were convinced she stole it. I told her if she told the truth, I would help her mother with surgery. Left with no choice, the girl admitted everything and begged my son for forgiveness. Seeing this, I agreed to perform the operation. When I followed the girl to where they lived, I was stunned to see their miserable conditions. Meanwhile, my son and mother had just returned home, and the maid brought out the lost protective charm. They finally realized the little girl hadn't lied. At the same time, I saw the house filled with piles of trash. I angrily blamed the mother for letting her daughter live like this, but the girl quickly defended her, saying her mom raised her alone by collecting bottles, and even sent her to a top school, proudly declaring her mom was amazing. But I still insisted her mother was irresponsible, unaware that I would soon regret those words. When I entered the room, there was no one inside, and the girl had no idea where her mom had gone. I immediately assumed that the girl had been lying all along, no matter how she explained. I refused to believe her. Just as I was about to leave, my son and mother